In this daily drop, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I learn about things when it comes to products that I'm going to create educational content for. So let's go. Okay, everybody, back in the barn and episode 2 for the week, episode 322. Am I right about that? Of the Daily Drop, ridiculous. And you can see here in front of me, I have the Accsoon CineMaster 4K transmitter and receiver. And it's one of a number of products I have in the barn right now that I'm going to be creating content around, and specifically educational content. So one of the things that if you're new to the channel, or even if you have been a part of the channel and this community for a while, one of the things that I really would say is a lane that I'm in is creating educational content. Not necessarily with me on camera all of the time, but definitely creating educational content in and around products for video production and filmmaking. That's part of it, but also lots of educational content outside of this particular space. And one of the things that I have to do when I'm doing that is figure out how to create that content effectively. And what I normally do, because for me personally, if I am the one presenting that content, and even if I'm just producing and directing and I'm behind the camera and other people are presenting that educational content, is I tend to work on outlines and bullet lists rather than perfectly scripted content. And the reason I do that, and there are exceptions to that, where you have people who just feel like they need a teleprompter, they need a script, so on and so forth. But the reason that I do it is it usually is more genuine and it feels more connected when the person who's delivering that content isn't scripted. And again, there are exceptions to that. There are people who like to work with scripted content, but I feel like if the content is outlined well with what each video is covering, then if the person internalizes what they're talking about, it's a little bit harder from a content creation standpoint because not every take is exactly the same in terms of the content that's delivered. But the end result, if you have editors who understand how to cut this type of content, is more genuine, more conversational. It's just better content overall. Okay, so the way that I generally tackle that is if it's a brand new product, or it's not a product that's come to market, then I'm going to have to dig into the documentation that is given to me by the client. Sometimes they'll have a draft of the user manual. And while I'm not really a user manual person, like a lot of people out there, you do have to dig in sometimes to the written documentation. So that's number one, is going through that stuff. Number two is if there are resources out there for content in and around the product, I don't want to create content that's identical, but most of the people who are creating content in and around new products are creating review-based content, not educational content. So what I'll do is I'll read articles, reviews, watch video-based content that is generally review-based content, and I'll just sort of internalize what this product is, get other people's viewpoints about the product and what it is that they like about the product, what they don't like about the product, and then I just spend time using the product. So I'll actually take these products and I will plug them into cameras, into monitors. I'll receive that signal for a transmitter and receiver, and I'll just basically play with different configurations. And all of those things together are the things that are going to inform that outline, that bullet list of content that I'm going to create for whatever the videos are that I'm going to produce, or if I'm writing an article, the article. Usually if I'm writing an article, there's an accompanying video, so on and so forth. So hopefully that gives you some insight. I'm sort of in baby stages here with this, but if I sit down with this product for another 2 to 3 hours, I'll very easily have an idea of what the video is going to be. And again, the goal for me is not to sit there and just go over the features of the product and say, here's my review of the Accsoon, CineView Master 4K. I always call it the Cine Master, but it's a CineView Master 4K. But here's how I can see people using this product in the real world and take it from an educational application-based standpoint. So there you go. It's a little insight into my process. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.